comment section, people are saying that few kids who are trading from last 1-2 years are coming up on camera and talking random stuff.
I strongly believe trading is only so much of skills, but more of emotional management.
Did you find a holy grail strategy?
In my prime, I used to make 50% returns in a year. That was my go-to staple bread and butter strategy.
Yeah.
I traded that for a very long period of time. I did make good money from that strategy. A lot of people say, hey, I've heard about your strategy back. I've traded it, made money.
Where did you start and where did you reach now?
40,000 rupees is the capital with which I started trading. Today, I'm trading with a capital of nearly 10 crore rupees.
You are the voice of option sellers.
First, I reached option selling. Then I understood out of the money option selling. Man, the concept of selling options, which will most probably go to zero, was like life-changing for me.
And what was that major loss that you had?
Had such days, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't live with who I was and what I did and the kind of mistake I did. If a trader is making money from trading, if he wants to launch courses on the side and want to even make more money from running courses, there is nothing wrong in a person wanting to make more money.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 weeks since the financial year ended. And Sharique, you posted the P&L video on your Malayalam YouTube channel, where I think every year you post it after the year ends. So there you were not so regular, but I think you're getting back into the rhythm. And in this channel, this is the 23rd episode of the Aftermarket Podcast. And I think we have not missed many episodes here. So I think it's a great time for us to introspect and actually look into the year that has been, and a great time for us to derive a lot of value from a learnings of a trader, right? So me and Nihal, hey, we thought why not look into a set of questions that we can come up with, that we can ask Sharique, and possibly try to get the maximum value for the audience. That is a goal here. And yes, for the audience, all the questions have not been shared with Sharique. This is purely an impromptu session. Sharique doesn't know what we are going to ask him. And the goal is that we want to get the maximum unbiased opinion from him. And for you, you will have to do your part. Write down what you feel is necessary. Take notes and make sure you learn really well from this. So I think let's start this episode very casually, very informally. Welcome to the 23rd episode of the Aftermarket Podcast. My name is Ajay Ajit. This is Nihal Bandapalli.
Hi.
And this is Sharique Samsudheen, CEO and co-founder of MarketFeed.
Hi.
Yeah, so before I actually get into the very first question that I want to ask you, this is for the viewers actually. So there were a few comments in the comment section. People are saying that few kids who are trading from last 1-2 years are coming up on camera and talking random stuff. So me specifically and me, Ajay, we wanted to make everybody understand that we are not those people, or especially you are not that person who have just 1-2 years of experience coming and just talking randomly. You have experience in trading. You've taught so many people in this field, and you know what is right, what is wrong. You had your own trading journey, right? You are the voice of option sellers. You popularized option selling to larger extent in Indian community. So that is what I want to bring it out in this podcast for us, for our viewers, for everyone, and derive a lot of value from your journey. So first, let me start with the very first question. What was your age when you actually first started trading with? What is your background even? How did you land up being a trader?
I think I started trading at the age of 23. And again, getting into this video, I think I've told my story and bits and pieces of my story across different videos on the Malayalam channel. And I think even in our English channel, some places here and there, I have mentioned my story. Even when I attend a lot of events to speak, even there, I keep telling my story. So I'm not sure how much is out where, but then again, for the sake of this, and also at a risk of repeating stuff, I'm still getting into this. So 23, out of college, so I graduated from NIT Jamshedpur. Out of college, it was my second job. 23, I was at my office and I saw someone else sitting across the desk and trading. I did not understand what it was. I just saw him doing something on a screen with a lot of green and red colors. And then I spoke to the person and understood, hey, this is something called trading and we could make money there. So that really created some amount of excitement in me. And that is how I got again excited about the world and wanted to understand more about trading. Yeah.
What branch of engineering were you doing?
Oh, it was production and industrial engineering. Yeah.
So completely unrelated to what career you ended up doing, and trading also.
I think that's super common in India today. Like there are even famous sayings, right? You end up doing something, but then doing engineering is kind of mandatory before that. But
so what I can understand is you started at 23, and how old are you now?
I'm 31.
So it's almost a decade that you've been experienced in trading. So
Yeah.
you have a lot of context.
Yeah. No, so that's where I like to go back, right? So when I used to get this comment earlier, even in my Malayalam channel, asking, hey, like, what's your experience? Who are you even to talk about it? And I also used to think about that internally, that imposter syndrome kind of a thing. Hey, am I actually good enough to talk about trading and stuff? But then early in my days, I used to share my journey with people on YouTube, and honestly, I feel like you're sharing your journey, you're taking them along with them in your journey, and then over the years, now I think I've arrived, right? I mean, with again risk of sounding slightly not. I don't know. I really want to be honest here, because the fact that I feel that Nikhil Kamath also says this, right? I mean, Nitin Kamath, I believe, over a 3-year, 4-year period, people do not make more than FD returns from trading. So it's been more than that amount of time I've been putting out my verified PNL.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay for me to come and talk about
Enough
all this.
credibility is already
Correct,
there.
correct.
So you would have also started somewhere small, right? You would have started with, let's say, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 or 1 lakh, whatever. So where did you start and where did you reach now?
Yeah, so 40,000 rupees is the capital with which I started trading.
Did you blow it up?
Obviously, definitely that kept coming down. And it used to swing like crazily. I think even with the 40,000 capital, there were days where I was down 20,000 rupees. I remember that day as well.
50%
so
drawdown.
50% drawdown. So you never think like that early in the days, right?
Yeah.
Early in the days, you have some money, you want to make even more. You want to double it, triple it. So that's how you think. But again, answering your question, so I started with 40K, and today, again, this is shown in my PNL video as well. I'm trading with a capital of nearly 10 crore rupees. And obviously, I want to say the fact that in no sense this should be taken out of context and be understood with the fact that, hey, I'm a person who grew 40,000 account into a 10 crore account purely from trading. Absolutely not the case. I'm an option seller. In my prime, I used to make 50% returns in a year.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the kind of returns I'm making. So even if you're compounding a 40,000 rupees at a 50% or a 100% a year, it will not reach 10 crore. Right. So I want to be very clear of the fact that trading is a business for me. So I started with 40K, and I'm getting better at it, and the business is stabilizing for me. I can do it in a good way. I infused extra capital from outside. So I have the luxury of having multiple income streams, which is obvious to people as well, right? I run my company. So I have multiple income streams. When I'm making money there, I'm infusing more capital, and that's how my capital grew. So I really want to make it very clear.
Did you find a holy grail strategy? That's what everyone is chasing over, right? One great, amazing strategy that will solve everyone's problem and make them infinite money for infinite time. Did you find that one single strategy?
So I have a real answer to it, then I have a philosophical answer to this as well. Right? Real answer is yes, I had a strategy which I thought was holy grail, at least back then, which gave a lot of confidence to me, which gave framework to me to operate, and it's very popular as well, right? I mean, that's what I taught to a lot of people. I have gone to multiple events across the country speaking about that strategy. A lot of people, even when they meet me in events, years after, they say, hey, I've heard about your strategy back, I've traded it, made money. So
it's public on YouTube, on different channels, on Malayalam in your channel.
Correct. Well, the strategy is out there. So at least back then, I used to think that's my holy grail strategy, because that was my go-to staple bread and butter strategy. I traded that for a very long period of time. I did make good money from that strategy. So I did think that I had a holy grail strategy. But now when I look back, so that's the real answer to it. So I did think that I had a holy grail strategy. But hey, it's not about the strategy at the end of the day. It's my realization now. So what matters is it's not holy grail strategy. It's holy grail mindset or a situation that you come into being. So you, after a point, you feel so confident in yourself, in your ability to trade and consistently make profit. So I think that mindset is holy grail. That is what is to be chased. Or if someone's actually planning to chase or create or achieve something, it shouldn't be a strategy. Strategies would break. Market regimes would change. Things would change. There are a lot of variables. So there is no holy grail strategy that you can chase, but there is a holy grail mindset I believe someone can chase. And I'm absolutely sure people can achieve that.
Definitely. Even I am constantly trying to get into that stage where, I find comfort in trading. So if few people ask me in my channel also, like, give us that holy grail strategy. So I know you have your thoughts, but one thing which I strongly believe is, you can have systems and process and everything, but I strongly believe price action and discretion is the king for anything. You be an opportunist. You try to find patterns in the markets, then you be an opportunist. you can be a directional trader there, be a directional guy. You see that market can go non-directional, be a non-directional guy. Try to be the opportunist and try to gain that experience in the market where you're able to judge the market. That is the holy grail for me personally, and that is where I'm trying to reach. And maybe once I reach there, probably I'll have a different philosophy and mindset. There is again a different thing, right? So you are where, or still the OG creator or the OG, like you are the voice of option sellers. So and option selling is not that fancy to, now it has become popular. Now everybody is getting into option selling. It has become a fancy thing. But when you started, how was the trading community back then? Did you started as option buyer, or did you eventually move into option seller, or are you still even doing option selling? What is that happening there?
Everyone starts as an option buyer.
Absolutely, yeah, right. So no one starts as a specific style of trader, right? Everyone starts, like Ajay said, as a seeker of money, right? I mean, that's what attracts everyone. And even for me, working a job in Bangalore, seeing someone trading, even I wanted to make quick bucks, quick money, and what is the way to do that? And intraday equity was the very first thing that attracted me, again with a lot of leverage back in the days. Intraday equity also something that you can understand easier. Options is slightly more sophisticated, so I don't think beginners also, I don't know what's the trend today, but again I don't think early in the days the very first thing attract. Maybe now that the intraday equity leverage has come down,
now that the leverage is, I think, 5x, people are not so interested.
Then option buying is the way to make money now.
Options has the inherent leverage, even though there is no a specific leverage given by SEBI. Options itself is a leverage product. Everyone is jumping into options, and that too option buying from the start now.
Right. So for me, it was not the case, because again, intraday equity had itself a lot of leverage, and the person I saw was doing the same, and then equity was more understandable, so I got into that. So again, did not become an option buyer, did not become an option seller. I just wanted to make money, to be very honest. So that was the journey. So I tried, like, obviously started with intraday equity, and then I subscribed to certain tip providers, and from there I got again intraday futures calls, intraday option buying calls, and that was the journey. So journey was all about figuring out, hey, how can I make money from trading? Because YouTube was not so mature, communities were not so mature, there weren't even categories like option buyers and option sellers and stuff
this is
like that.
before Sharique the YouTuber.
This
is okay. Just clarifying that.
So when I say 23 years of age, it is what, 2017. Right. So I'm speaking about figuring out stuff in 2018, 19, where even in Hindi, English YouTube content, there wasn't much around trading and investing. Right.
I think all this came popularized past COVID. So when
most of the stuff happened post-COVID. So so it was just a pure figuring out journey. How can I make money? And eventually I just found out that you can sell out of the money options in Nifty. And that is a world where you have high probability to win, high win rate. So I understood, because option buying, intraday equity, future trading, the win rate isn't that high, right? I mean, you might make big money when you make big money, but you lose more often, and you also lose money. You can control to lose less and make more, but the win rate is less. So when I reached option selling, and that too especially, first I reached option selling, then I understood out of the money option selling. Man, the concept of selling options, which will most probably go to zero. Was like life-changing for me, because when I saw that, hey, the win rate is so high that what I tried to optimize for was my emotional journey. So I'm not getting hit emotionally quite often, because most of the times I'm winning. Sometimes I'm losing, I might be losing big, but then the objective was only one. When I'm losing, let me not lose big, because all the other time I'll make money. So this kind of changed life for me, and that's how I become an option seller. Another pivotal moment in the journey was me understanding the game of thinking in terms of percentages. So again, coming with 40,000, I had the expectation of making another 50,000 or a lakh
with
month.
the 40,000.
So because that was definition of success to some extent, as to making a lakh rupees. Back in the day, while I was hustling and trying to figure out, I was like, that was my life's goal at some point. Hey, making 1 lakh rupees of income would be amazing. So that was there. So after a point, while the win rate of option selling really helped me, I also understood that having right expectations really help you. So I understood, hey, you shouldn't be thinking how much absolute amount of money you want to make as profits, but what percent of your capital is realistic and is what you should look at. And that's again another reason why I got into option selling.
Even talking about my personal journey, even I started with equity swing. I think this was in 2019 or something. One of my uncles gave me his accounts to just play around with and manage, right? And it was an interesting journey. And eventually, I think after 2020, I would have also ended up in option buying.
Oh.
But somehow I got the right influence from you and other good traders. I think even Mr. PR Sundar, for that matter. And if I went down the option buying route, right, making that as my primary, maybe I would have cracked it. But as you said, the win rate and the success rate is widely different. I think much more stability was offered to me in the option selling route.
Right.
Yeah. And to me personally, I was a futures trader. So that is purely directional. I was making decent amount. Like what you said, the win rate could be less, but RR was much better there.
absolutely, yeah.
So I was still making good money, and I started with a very limited capital. I started with just 30,000. I went to my dad. I said, "Give me 30,000. If I blow it up, don't give me money. If I make money, let me just keep making money." So that is how my journey started. And eventually, once I made a decent amount of capital, that is where I wanted the stability that you were talking about. I was not ready to risk much. I was like thinking this as a business. I want stability. I want consistent returns. So that is where I got into option selling. I enrolled for your course. That all happened. So I am now curious, before even getting into moving on to other topics, even before you started equity trading, I'm sure you would have had multiple options. You said futures. Probably you would have had options of equity or commodity or even forex, or now what is trending is crypto. So why haven't you moved away from equity option, especially index options, right? Have you explored any of other stuff? Have you burnt your hands there? You said that is not right for me. How did you find your psychology, and how did you land up at equity options only?
So I think I'm mostly a person who wants to build on top of my own strength and build and get better there. So that is a larger mentality that I've been having. And then I also think there has to be strong whys in your life to do stuff like objectives. And I'm a very objective and a why driven person. So I think the why for me, for personally to get into trading, was again to make money, and then to get better as an option seller, obviously to make even more money and to make that part of my income even more stable. And then came my company MarketFeed, which has had its own products. And then there are demands from MarketFeed as a company to create certain sort of trading and strategies and research requirements there, which are all in a certain direction, which is nifty because of regulations and all of those. And that is a reason for me to focus on that and get it done. So I really don't have bandwidth enough or focus to focus on new asset classes and crack them.
And maybe it is not even needed to explore multiple assets. Maybe only one is enough for us to like grow and succeed. And you are the live example there. So I see people, jumping after different commodities or different segments, trying to find what they are good at, which is good. But if you're comfortable with something, you're making money, then I don't think there is no need to like over diversify or explore different stuff. It is okay to explore, but if you're good at something, it is giving you rewards. If it is making you money, then what is the problem there?
No, I would not agree to that as well. I mean, if in a different world, if I did not have the company and the kind of requirements that our company is having, then I might have actually explored more stuff. I see a lot of traders moving to UAE and exploring other markets. I would have maybe done that. So I think it's all about who you are and what journey you are in, and what is life asking out of you. So so for me, in my context, in the way the life I am living, the requirements which are coming to me are again nifty options and whatever is regulated under NSE. So I'm focusing on that, and it's working for me. And
okay, one very common thing, especially among enthusiastic traders, is they end up having a streak of very successful trades, maybe even in a single day.
Yeah.
And they have one bad trade that washes out their profits or even a part of their capital. So I think that's very common, right?
Yeah.
So the question there would be, how have you faced the same? And if so, maybe it's overconfidence, maybe it is bad position sizing or capital management. How have you tackled it?
Yeah, so along the journey, definitely such moments have been there. I mean, getting high on your success and then acting differently. But maybe this is what I said before as well, right? Like emotional control is what I also learned as the largest answer or the largest skill that a trader could have. So it is part of that. So again, if you ask me a lot of questions in different ways, my answer will all boil down to controlling your emotions. I strongly believe trading is only so much of skills, but more of emotional management, how you are and how you think and how you operate. So yes, this is very real, has happened with me as well. But along the way, trading and market will humble you, and that has happened with me as well. So you'll eventually learn to calm down and have a composed mindset and get over all of those stuff. But then, okay, so I also have this reference to thinking about this emotional part I'm referring to as a muscle.
Yeah.
So it's like you go to a gym and start taking a 5 kg dumbbell on the first day. It's very difficult, right?
Yeah.
But you keep doing that, and maybe within few days you'll start taking a 5 kg even.
Yeah.
5 kg even with a lot of ease. So it's that emotional part of your brain is also a muscle if you think like that. So early in the days it is not there. It's so you'll have to take it through a lot of ups and downs, lot of confidences and making losses and seeing that. So along the journey, that muscle also develops. So eventually you'll become a matured trader, so you wouldn't fall into traps like
Yeah,
this.
and I believe for the audience, your main responsibility will be not to blow up your capital in this journey of training your emotional muscle, right? Because I talked to a trader today, he was primarily an option buyer. He was very clear that he deploys only 5% of his capital in a trade. So no matter if he wins or loses, he only max losses limited to 5%. And even when we were actively trading, discretion trading in option selling, I remember that we had a strict SL on our trades as well, so that we don't end up blowing our capital. So that's also very important. Even if you're a beginner, even when you're training that muscle, make sure you don't blow up your capital.
And I
But
think
again, let's keep it real. No, people would blow up their capital, and I
Yeah.
think that's also part of training your muscle.
Yeah.
So you'll have to see your capital going down or facing huge drawdowns, maybe blowing up. I don't know. It depends on the capital size. But again, that's also training your muscle in a better way. I mean, yeah.
And I
part
feel
of the
that
game.
is only is experience.
Yeah.
You see the ups and downs of a strategy only when you know that I follow a certain strategy, I can make money, I can lose some money, and again bounce back. I think that is where your emotional stability comes in, where you don't fall into a loop where you're blowing up your capital. I think that is what is called experience in trading, what we call. But again, I am sure you would have your biggest profit days and biggest loss days also. So what was your, I'm very curious, so what was your biggest, I know you've done positional option selling, but I'm sure on expiry days, it can get into kind of an intraday mood also, right? So what was your biggest profit that you saw on intraday basis, and what was your loss? So in both cases, the profit, maybe in today's context or in your past context or whatever context, what is that one biggest loss that made you very high? Like, yeah, I made it in life. What was that turning point, if you had any? And what was that major loss that you had? Emotionally, it could be a number value or whatever. What is that loss-making scenario that affected you also?
I'll maybe talk about the loss part first. I don't remember my biggest loss as such. I think even this year, I think at a point I was even down by more than 50 lakh rupees, maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
So recent, I've seen huge, large losses. Again, I've seen my account coming down a lot. But again, one loss which I vividly remember way back in, I think 2018 or 19, I don't clearly remember. I lost nearly 40,000 rupees in a day. Back then for me, 40,000 was huge.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't live with who I was, right? I couldn't. I clearly understand when people walk to me and talk about their losses and how they're figuring out trading. I understand that to the core. I empathize that because I've had such days. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't live with who I was and what I did and the kind of mistake I did to create that 40,000 loss. Over trading and taking illogical trades and trying to recover that and making that. So, man, I lived that. I clearly remember that. So I think that is one. That was only 40,000 rupees, but then hey, it's all contextual, right? 40,000 for me back then, and this year I've seen like huge. Like I said, I don't know. I don't even track exact losses now because it's very normal for me now. But I'm sure north of 50 lakh rupees is at some point I had
Drawdown, not intraday.
Not intraday. Speaking about big losses, big wins, I don't keep a track of them. Again, being an option seller, it's consistent small profits coming. I don't even try to keep a target and try to achieve that. But back in the days, an expiry, making 2% or more on an expiry and all used to feel like big wins.
Because while you were targeting 1%, if anything more than that would feel like a win.
Correct. So like I see option buyers and future traders and all trying to go for big wins and one trade with crore rupees of profit and trying to put screenshots of that now out. But I've never was that person. I could never think like that because my trading model itself does not allow for that. So I've never done like that. But again, touching 10 lakh rupees a day and all is not something, I don't know. When I used to actively trade, it wouldn't have happened, but would have happened over the last year at some point of time. I just don't track my big wins.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to be emotionally detached.
Yeah.
If you believe in your strategy.
Yeah.
That is only if you believe in your strategy. It's a good thing to be emotionally detached from your P&L. That helps you stay consistent, stay disciplined in your approach towards trading, and I think helps
so
you
in
move
my
forward.
style of trading, what I've learned over time is don't try to optimize for your wins, try to optimize your losses, and just make sure your losses do not go big.
Yeah.
So in my words, the kind of option selling and the kind of trading I believe would work and is working for me is risk management. You have to put in work to manage your risk, because profit will anyways come, because you're selling out of the money options.
Money saved is money earned.
That too, right? So you're selling out of the money options. There is a high probability that they'll go to zero.
Yeah.
So in that journey, when things could go bad, you have to manage your risk. So I've always been thinking like that. So I can remember more of my losses. I can even last year I remember my drawdowns better than the wins I've had. So I try. So I'm just getting back to your point of I am not really completely detached from my losses. I track my losses. I want to understand why they're happening or what is happening. I want to cut them down. I want to manage them better, because I know profits will anyways come. So at least that's how I operate.
So I think that's one part of what we wanted to discuss, the early days, how you came up as a trader. I mean, that's always curious, right? And I'm sure someone somewhere out there would have something to learn, right, from all of our conversations. And that's where I would like to move to part 2.
Yeah. Let us try to understand what were your beliefs about trading, your ethics and morals regarding trading, what were your major turning points in your life with trading. So let us try to understand those a little bit. So in that, the very first thing that I have to ask this is, everybody calls option trading as gambling. So how do you see it? Because there are few people who argue saying, especially traders say that, okay, we have data, we have analytics, we have charts, we do so much of analysis and then trade. So it is not gambling. Then people who are actually gambling, let's say cricket betting or horse betting, whatever, they also say that we have a lot of data, we have to look at players, we have to look at horses and then take a bet. So people who are against betting are still accusing option traders as gamblers. So how do you see that? And when you started, did you have that thought even in your mind that I'm getting into gambling, or do you still believe it? How do you, what is your thought process around
So
that?
when I started, obviously it was a small world. I did not have exposure to a lot of people. So there was no one at least around me telling, hey, it is gambling, or I did not have enough intelligence or wisdom to think that it is gambling. So I just got into it again, as we said, just to make a lot of money. But now when I think about it, I have good clarity in understanding that the way I trade options, it's not gambling at all. So gambling for me, definition is if you don't have control on outcome, on the outcome of whatever you're doing, then that is gambling. For example, see, betting on horses, like you said. See, the moment the horse race starts,
Yeah.
you have no control on the outcome. Like anything could happen. The degree to which you have control is very less. But when it comes to trading, at least the way I do it, I think I have a large amount of degree. Still, yes, I don't have control on how Nifty is going to move. If I'm trading Nifty, I have no control on how Nifty is going to move. But I have a huge degree of control. If Nifty is going up and I have positions which is bleeding because of that, I could get out, I could take opposite positions, I could risk manage, I could do a lot of firefighting, I could do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a lot more degree on control on the outcome, and that's why I think it's not gambling.
Yeah, with options, you have a lot of options.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's what is said, right?
Firefighting is a famous
Yeah.
term. I mean, you keep doing that, right?
Yeah.
So to make odds in your favor, you keep going there and attacking that, and that's what I think
But
it's
again,
not gambling.
talking about gambling, I mean, it's sad to see in a bit that I was traveling yesterday in a cab and I saw the cab driver actually playing fantasy betting apps, right? Cricket betting apps right there on the cab while and discussing with his friend, hey, what? And he was betting a decent amount, the same exact amount that he was filling fuel for. So imagine that, right? So in an entire country, I think more than 10x the number of stock market participants are into fantasy gaming.
Yeah.
So imagine that number. I think that's not a good ratio. But then I have also heard other stories. So there's my one friend who has come down from Canada, and he told me that sports betting is legal and very common in Canada. And there is something that he cracked, which he calls as arbitrage trading. So what he does is, none of these are regulated in any way, or they don't have a central agency like NSE or SEBI to look after them. So each betting apps are their own exchange. So there will always be some pricing differences between each one of them. So let's say, for a simple sense, you sell something here, you buy something somewhere else. The difference is your profit, right? Even in NSE and BSE, if you sell something in NSE, buy it in BSE, your difference is going to be your profit. And he catches those spreads and makes money. I don't think that's gambling. Again, from the perspective of betting and sports and everything, you can still do it maybe intelligently. I believe so. Right? There is a world where people do that. And yeah, I think there are people who do it intelligently, but what Indians do, the opportunities for them to do in any avenues except stock market, everything, I could call it gambling.
And even coming down to the gambler's mindset, I think with, or I shouldn't call the name out, I think we'll mute that. But again, such betting apps, what is a like mindset here? Like, with small money, how can I become rich very quickly? And that is what, even in option buying penny options, all of that comments. And that is where the whole option community is being blamed. You all are gamblers. So I guess now everybody has a very clear understanding also that what we are doing is not betting until we have control over what we are doing. Okay, then today, if some aspiring trader who wants to become a really good, I wouldn't just say option trader, he could be a equity swing trader as well, or somebody who's aspiring to be a trader, how do they find a really good mentor? What are the qualities, or how do someone find a good mentor? Okay, yeah, I can learn from this guy or a girl or a woman or whatever. How can I find my good teacher who can teach me trading? What are the ways that one can approach or find?
So I think there are lot of good content on YouTube already. It's not like back in 2017 or 18, right? I mean, I think there is like more than enough content than what is even needed. But then when you go into so much content, what is important is what is good content and who is a good creator. I think that is what is important. I think, and again, in no way glorifying YouTubers or finfluencers like they're infamously called. I think that is the quickest and easiest access for anyone sitting anywhere in the country to get good quality access to information around investing and trading. And it's not even in trading, right? Anything that you think about, anything, any domain you want to upskill, you just go to YouTube.
To start, I don't know, start a business,
coding or digital marketing. You just go to YouTube and learn from creators, and there are good creators and bad creators everywhere. So I think it's someone's responsibility to find the good ones and learn from them. So I think world has become really nice for someone who wants to learn anything for that matter today.
But then here I'd like to ask one critical opinion also on you. So then there are practical gurus, practical teachers who, teach what they preach. They are traders themselves. They have a lot of hands-on experience, and then they teach. This is what I do, and I'll teach you better. And they sell courses. And then there are other sets of people who didn't trade ever, but they have absolute great knowledge, and they're good teachers inherently, right? They know how to teach people. So what should a person or a trader who's aspiring to be a trader should go to? Should he go with a experienced guy, or should he go with the actual guy who can teach really well? What do you think around that?
Coaches don't play. Yeah, that's a quote.
No, so if there are coaches who are available out there who actually play as well, or who have played as well, then why, learn from them, no?
Yeah.
So, and I believe there are such people also available out there. Well, there are infamously a lot of names who have eventually come out teaching and not trading themselves. But I'm sure there are people out there who are good traders themselves, who put out verified P&L and offering to teach. Then I would say, hey, learn from them. That's a better thing to do. Definitely.
So yeah, I think you have to sort out, right?
Yep.
So you can sort in your priority list. Obviously, the greatest priority will be to whoever is more transparent. And I think someone who is lying, they're clearly out of the picture. Someone who said they're making huge profits, and at the end of the year, something comes up on Twitter saying that, hey, this guy has been in huge losses. Right? That's very obvious, and he is out. So I think that's one easy filter you can make. But again, if you're asking about theory, basics, then I think I disagree with you a bit. So someone who can teach really well, maybe the coaches don't play, might not be in great, might come into effect there, unless they're going to teach you some secret strategy, right? If they're teaching you the basics, hey, what is futures and options? that's okay, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely
I
okay.
believe that if they're a great teacher, if they can communicate well, they can teach. You can learn from them.
But
No, so
only
if there is a list, then whoever teaches the best and whoever does that as well comes at the top, is
Yeah,
what I said.
yeah.
But for basics and all, if there is someone who doesn't even know what trading is or options is, but if they can actually communicate it effectively, you learn from them. That's completely
and
okay.
they should be transparent and honest about that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's it.
Yeah.
And
Then
what-
there's also a mindset of, if someone's a good trader putting out a verified PNL and still running a trading course on the side, that people
Yeah.
have a mindset of asking, hey, if you're really profitable, why are you running a course on the side? And this is something, since I don't run courses, I can now say this.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong in a person wanting to make more money.
Yeah.
Right? We live in a capitalist economy. This is how things are. If a trader is making money from trading, if he wants to launch courses on the side and want to even make more money from running courses, it's absolutely okay. I mean, there is no way and there's no requirement to look at it from a bad lens.
Yeah, when
Asmita
somebody
Patel made 100 crores.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, whenever, again, if you lie and you sell a course, that's when things get tricky, right?
Yeah.
When you missell and sell,
when
a
you
course,
missell,
promise
yeah.
and sell dreams which can probably never be achieved or you can never help achieve. Those are where
Exactly.
problems.
So if you sell the right way and then you're earning money from that, I don't see anything wrong.
Yeah, and then again, so this is all about trading and the critical aspects of it, your turning points. We have discussed everything, but there is one part of trading also which not many people talk about, is the loneliness in trading. So we now in office we are all traders. We are trading together. There was a community also. We have exchange our trades. We try to upskill each other. That is all there. But out there in the world, trading is actually a very lonely business. There is one guy sitting in his desk, watching at the charts throughout the day. And he's mostly depressed. Probably his family also wouldn't understand what he's doing. Probably he can't talk about the losses because they wouldn't understand the logic of bouncing back, all of that. So did you had that phase? Did you had any issues in your family, in your relationships, or were you even in that phase ever?
Not really, but so early in the days, there's no one who understand what you're going through. I mean, and that is in no way, I was not a full-time trader when I was facing a lot of those problems, right? But then I've had friends to whom I used to share, hey, what am I doing and what's happening and how I'm trying to figure out. And I clearly remember when I was working, I used to wake up in the morning and trade from 9 till 10, 15, 10:30 before I had to go to my workplace. I
Yeah.
used to quickly trade, get it sorted. Maybe the day would have ended really badly and I had to go to work with that emotion in my mind, right? So I had that person, a friend with whom I could share. So that really helped when I look back. And then when I started, COVID is a time maybe where I would have started traded lonely a lot, and then eventually we all came together. I moved to Kochi, and then Ajay and Abdul and we all traded
Yeah.
together since then for a very long time. So what I strongly believe, I mean, having people around and having people with whom you can talk to and share your journey and struggles and what happened really help. At times when you do stupid stuff and when you don't have anyone to share is when it really kills you.
Yeah.
The night I was talking about before,
Yeah.
that was a moment where I had no one to share.
Yeah.
Like absolutely no one to share. I couldn't even tell it to my parents as to that amount was significant, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't do. So having people to share with really helps.
Yeah, and I think one thing that Sharique miss here is there is a huge accountability that comes with Sharique having an audience, right? And like I've seen him actually make decisions based on that. Hey, what will happen if I make a huge loss and blow up my capital? I can't afford to do that because
Yeah.
I have to come tomorrow and show my verified PNL in front of people,
Yeah.
right? So I can't afford to take any crazy risks and blow up my capital. And that kind of accountability, not just towards a friend circle or the support circle, traders or family, but towards a larger audience that he created. I think that also contributed a lot to your...
Absolutely. So in the world where build in public is a thing, having public accountability is being discussed in multiple circles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I see people coming on Twitter and saying that, hey, people announcing, even on Instagram, right? A
Yeah.
lot of creators actually announce that, hey, I'm going to do this challenge. I'm going to do it publicly.
Yeah.
It's nothing but public accountability.
Yeah.
And because we can be assholes to ourselves. We can tell us something that, hey, just to yourself, you'll say that I'll do this and that. And
Yeah.
you'll just, after a few days, stop doing that.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay with that because there's no one to grill you.
Yeah.
But then a friend could help, a few more people, more the number of people holding you accountable could really help. So I think that's where the concept of public accountability is coming in, and that has helped me as well.
And if nobody wants to come out publicly and want to have that accountability, at least having a friend or a colleague or someone who are in the similar path,
Helps.
being transparent and honest with each other. I made a loss, I made a profit, this is what I followed, brings in more consistency in whatever they're doing and eventually get better.
So I think the only last question is, we keep asking or having this discussion, right? So we can give motivation for someone and give the right guidance to someone on, let it be anything, to start a business, to start a YouTube channel, or to even start trading for that matter. Now, for some reason or the other, you're just not able to become successful. So the question is, when do you stop, right? I think it's a very difficult question to answer, but let's try unpacking
What is
that.
your stop loss? What is your definition of stop loss to trading in life?
Yeah. So that's what is very interesting is in life. So it need not be around trading at all. It could be around whatever you're doing. Right? It could be a job, a business. I mean, whatever you're pursuing, maybe. If that's not working out as per your expectation, eventually you can end up being a crazy person who did not just fail in that endeavor, who failed entirely in your life. So someone who is chasing trading and is compromising on their career, on work, upskilling, but because they're focused on trading, and for years they're not succeeding in trading. Like it's been 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So then they wake up and they are 40 years of age and they don't have anything else as well, and they've lost a lot of money, they've not built anything, they failed in life all of a sudden. To come out from that is very, very difficult, right? So I think stop loss is very important, like in trades, in trading as a profession or anything in life, it is very important. I can't really give a framework to that just like that, right? I mean, it is about juggling your life intelligently, because so that's where you can intelligently approach trading or business or anything for that matter. If you look at me, I never started out as a full-time trader or wanting to be a full-time trader. I traded on the side. I had my job on the side. I started my YouTube channel, not even related to trading. I did multiple stuff trying to figure out something, and eventually something worked and things just came into a picture. Even the business that we are currently running, we've grown and we've done some good stuff over the years. But even when we started, I mean, when I look back, I did not invest a lot of money into the business. It was just me and my co-founder and a few boys, right? We just came together. We just started it out as an experiment. We like organically grew it and saw how it was scaling, and then only started investing and hiring more people, because all of those are also like building on your strength and making sure you're not ending up as a lunatic person, right? So I think that's, you have to, again, no clear, simple answer to it. It is about intelligently understanding and going about stuff.
So I think in the early days, spread, I mean, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and scale as you grow, right? These two things are my takeaways from
scale
here.
as you grow. That's the good thing, right? And in no sense this should be looked upon or be understood as demotivating people to do from stuff, right? This is just asking that, hey, like, have great dreams, chase them, but do it in an intelligent manner, right? I was having podcast with another person. It is on my Malayalam channel, right? Anandu is a founder of one of the largest tech companies in Kerala. So he was also saying this, right? I mean, it is okay to have big dreams, but it is not okay to like mess up your life because of your dreams. That's what I'm saying. So always have a plan B, always operate rationally, intelligently, making sure that your life overall is not going to get screwed. You are the CEO of your life, and it is on you to take intelligent decisions, responsible decisions for yourself.
So what I can understand is what even I preach and believe is, have a strong, stable source of income which keeps running you every day, your monthly in and out. There is no problem of that. And then in your free time, try to find some passion or some hustle which you can, contribute some amount of time and see if it is working for you. And if you're actually getting confidence, if you're actually getting paid back as much as your main income source with very limited resources and attention, then you can build confidence and then double down on that. And once that start becoming your main source of income, then again find a different. So I feel always like churning that out is always important. Just focusing on, maybe if I want to become a trader, like I see students doing that. So they are out of college, they'll ask some pocket money from their dads or whatever. They'll just take some money and try to firefight with the market. They'll try to become the pro trader because they're probably seeing some fake YouTubers or the so-called YouTubers or influencers showing fancy cars or fancy lifestyle, and they feel like trading is the go-to game for that, and get misled. So I think this is a right approach that they have to fall into.
When we started live trading, one of our major goals was, hey, we want to be the genuine live traders on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because there are people with lakhs and lakhs of daily views. And we found that, and eventually it played out its game, right? And today, now the journey is different. Everyone wants to be the live crypto and forex trader on
Yeah.
YouTube. I was just seeing a lot of it on my home feed.
Yeah.
So people should stop chasing after the next big thing, maybe, as you said,
Yeah.
and stay grounded,
Yeah.
and take the natural path, as Sharique said.
Yeah. And before we wrap up this whole podcast or this discussion and understanding your mind and your framework, so I want to like understand, how are you at your life now? How is your relation with money now? So probably a 20-year-old Sharique Samsudheen had a different lens towards money and finances, and probably your situation then, and now you're at a different stage. So from that stage where you had nothing and now where you have something, how do you look at finances and how humble are you with money?
So I think I'm definitely at a place where I'm not concerned about money anymore. So as I said, I mean, I look back and I look the old me who wanted ₹1,00,000 a month. So that is definitely there, and I've also built enough corpus with which I am feeling very comfortable in life. I am not worried or anxious about what's happening to my life or where it will go, and all of those basic requirements and basic struggles of life, I think, is taken care to a large extent, and for which I'm a lot grateful. Because that is now sorted, I don't have to worry about that. I have that mental bandwidth now available, which I'm now utilizing for whatever gives me more satisfaction and whatever can give me inner fulfillment, which is building out this business. And now whenever I have like larger issues in life, I can only focus on those issues. Like it could be problems within my company, it could be in trading, it could be scaling the product or whatever. So, but I can look at those with all my intent because my life is kind of sorted. So otherwise, if I have my company also in problem and my life is also in trouble, then I would have been in a much difficult place. So I'm really like feel better. I'm happy that I'm in this place. So that's how it is.
So they say this, right? Money can't buy you happiness. But again, those are the people who are saying this who have money. So what do you think about that philosophy? Like, can we still be happy with less money and still be happy, and have a lot of money and still not be happy? Or can we buy happiness with money? What do you feel?
No, I'll be materialistic here. I think, I'm much happier because I have money. Absolutely. Right?
That is only because you have that comfort and cushion of, the expenses are being taken care of, gives you more luxury to be happy.
See, I'm a person who when I was working at my first job, I wanted to optimize my dinner at under 70 rupees. So I used to think by evening, like, where should I eat from in the night so that it is under 70 rupees? So being very specific, I was in Indiranagar in Bangalore, sir. There was a Patan, sir, where I could get a roll. Then there was an Ambur biryani spot where I could get a biryani under 80 rupees, 70 rupees. So I used to think like that. Now I know, now I've lived that, I've seen that. So now I know, probably even to a foreign vacation, I need not think, I need not even look into my account or plan my finances. I could just take a visa and go and come back. I need not care. So I know this difference, and with this difference, I can say this is happiness, and money can buy happiness, and this is amazing. This is beautiful, right? Someone can reach here, and everyone should reach here.
Someone who tells you otherwise is lying.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, definitely.
And does money bring problems to you?
Not really. Nothing that I can think of a lot now. Early in the days, paying tax. I think this is a common thing for a lot of people, right? Paying tax feels difficult and painful in the beginning, but then you actually understand, hey, that's how the world works, and you're paying out of what you earned. So otherwise, nothing much.
Yeah. And I think that is where we should wrap up this conversation. Lot of insights from Sharique.
Yeah, and I think the goal here again is fulfilled to a certain extent. For a beginner trader who is just coming into the market, more so than any strategies, right? A lot of mindsets, right? What direction do they have to go? What are the common thoughts that they have in their mind, but they don't have anyone to ask to? That's what we wanted to clear in this video, right? And we wanted to put it across in a straightforward way, and I hope that we have done that. So as always, make sure that you let us know any and all of your thoughts in the comments down below. You are the fourth participant of the show, so make sure you let us know everything in the comments down below. So let's wrap up. Again, my name is Ajay Ajit. See you all in the next week with another Aftermarket Podcast episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.